won't be fooled. We're breaking through, breaking through. Their propaganda we can see right through. We're waking up, ain't nothing they can do. They lied to you.
Ever pondered how historical narratives shape our understanding of identity, race, and religion? It's a question that takes us deep into the annals of history, into the stories we've been told and those we've not. Today, we're turning our gaze towards a particular narrative that has been distorted over centuries: the story of Bilal. Bilal, a figure often associated with the onset of Islam, is commonly portrayed as a slave of African descent. This perception has been woven into the fabric of our historical understanding, shaping not only the way we view Bilal, but also how we perceive race and religion. However, as we peel back the layers of this narrative, we find a stark absence of Bilal in a critical source, the Quran, not a single mention. Isn't that curious? This absence prompts us to question, where did the story of Bilal originate? How did the narrative of him being a slave come to be so prevalent? Could it be that this narrative was constructed not from historical truth, but from a desire to maintain the notion that individuals of African descent are descendants of slaves? This is not to discount the suffering and oppression that slaves of African descent have endured. However, it does call into question the validity of the narrative we've been told about Bilal. It beckons us to explore the possibility that this narrative was intentionally distorted, perhaps to uphold certain power structures or to perpetuate racial stereotypes. As we venture into this unspoken history, we will challenge the accepted narrative, peel back the layers of distortion, and seek the truth. We will sift through various historical sources, analyze their credibility, and piece together a more accurate picture of Bilal. So, ready to embark on this journey of historical discovery? Good, because history, as we know it, is often not as it seems. It's a complex tapestry of truths, half-truths, and outright fabrications. Now, let's delve into the real story of Bilal, pieced together from various historical sources. Bilal, a name often associated with slavery, but is that the entire truth? Let's delve into the true story of Bilal, a tale that begins not in chains but in freedom. Bilal was born in Mecca to free parents. His mother, Hamama, was a former princess of Abyssinia, and his father, Rabah, was a successful merchant. From the outset, Bilal was not a slave, he was born a free man. Growing up, Bilal was known for his intelligence and his strikingly melodious voice. He was a man of character, a man of principle. His life took a significant turn when he first encountered the teachings of Islam. He was profoundly moved by the egalitarian message of the faith, a message of equality and brotherhood, which resonated deeply with his own beliefs. Intrigued by these teachings, Bilal made a life-altering decision. He converted to Islam. This act was not without its consequences, as Mecca at the time was a hub of polytheistic beliefs. However, Bilal stood firm, embracing his new faith with courage and conviction. Bilal's story does not end here. His role in the early Islamic community was paramount. He was known as the first muezzin, the individual responsible for the call to prayer. His melodious voice would echo through the streets of Medina, calling the faithful to prayer. His voice was not just heard, it was listened to, respected, and revered. His relationship with Prophet Muhammad was one of mutual respect and admiration. The Prophet saw in Bilal a man of unwavering faith and integrity. He recognized his value and his contribution to the community, treating him not as a slave but as a brother. As we can see, the narrative of Bilal as a slave is a gross misinterpretation of his actual history. His story is one of freedom, faith, and resilience. It's a story that transcends the shackles of slavery and resonates with the true spirit of humanity. Why then, you might ask, is Bilal's story so often misrepresented? Well, it all comes down to the power of narratives. Narratives are the stories we tell ourselves and each other about the world and our place in it. They shape our understanding of history, our beliefs, our values, and our actions. But narratives are not inherently truthful. They can be manipulated, twisted, and distorted to serve a variety of agendas. And this is precisely what has happened with the story of Bilal. In the grand tapestry of human history, the narrative of slavery has been one of the most potent and enduring. A narrative that has been used time and again to marginalize, oppress, and dehumanize people of African descent. The story of Bilal, as it is often told, fits neatly into this narrative. Bilal, an African man born into slavery, finding his freedom and his voice in Islam. It's a powerful story, no doubt, but it's also a story that reinforces the idea that people of African descent are by default slaves. that their history begins and ends with bondage. But here's the thing, there's no mention of Bilal being a slave in the Quran. This aspect of his story, so often emphasized, appears to be a later addition, a fabrication designed to fit a pre-existing narrative. Manipulating the story of Bilal in this way serves a dual purpose. It perpetuates the narrative of African people as slaves while also reinforcing the idea of Islam as a liberating force. Of course, the Quran states to free slaves, but they labeled him as a slave. It's a narrative that serves to uphold power structures and maintain the status quo. It reinforced the fake narrative that all black Arabs are slave descendants when they are the true Arabs. The story of Bilal is a stark reminder that history is often written by the victors, not the vanquished. But it's also a reminder of our responsibility to question the narratives we're presented with, to seek out the truth, and to tell our own stories. After all, we are the authors of our own narratives. So what is the true legacy of Bilal, beyond the misconceptions and misrepresentations? Let's delve deeper into this narrative, sifting fact from fiction, and unearth the reality of Bilal's profound impact on Islam and its teachings. Bilal, a man of Ethiopian origin, is known not because of the color of his skin, but for his unwavering faith and commitment to his beliefs. His story, as a symbol of racial equality in Islam, is a testament to the religion's universal acceptance and its rejection of racial superiority. Bilal, the man who was entrusted with the call to prayer, or Adhan in the early days of Islam, was chosen for this role not because of his social standing or lineage, but for his spiritual strength and devotion. His courage was evident in his steadfast refusal to renounce his faith, even under the most severe forms of torture. His loyalty to Prophet Muhammad and his devotion to Allah and Islam were unshakable, making him a revered figure in Islamic history. He was a beacon of strength, a pillar of faith, and a symbol of resilience. Bilal's legacy extends beyond his individual contributions to Islam. He represents the spirit of equality that is inherent in the teachings of the Quran. He serves as a reminder that in Islam, all humans are equal in the eyes of Allah, irrespective of their race, color, or social status. His story is a powerful message to the world that Islam does not condone racial discrimination or social hierarchy. His legacy is a beacon of hope for those who are marginalized and oppressed. It is a call to fight against racial and social injustices and to uphold the values of equality, justice, and human dignity. Bilal's story, when told accurately, is a powerful testament to his strength, faith, and the essential message of equality in Islam. It's time we honor his true legacy, free from the shackles of misrepresented narratives of the colonizers. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.